Hi, I'm David Dusek for Golfweek, and on Wednesday morning, the USGA and the R&A, the governing bodies of golf around the world, said that they had sent an areas of interest letter to equipment manufacturers about 24 hours ago, explaining that they have some areas that they really want to explore and to look into to possibly rein in distance for golfers at the most elite levels. Having had a chance to read the letter, there are a lot of really interesting things inside it, but the biggest takeaways for me are, number one, the USGA and the R&A are interested in trying to rein in distance at the game's most elite levels. PGA Tour players, Korn Ferry Tour players, DP World Tour players, but they're really trying to not change anything at the recreational level. Almost all the things that they say that they want to explore are related to speed at the highest level. For example, the USGA and the R&A want to work with manufacturers about potentially changing the way that golf balls are tested, moving the test driver that's used in that test from 120 mile an hour clubhead speed to 125 mile an hour clubhead speed, and testing golf balls at different spin rates and different launch angles for conformity. Now, most recreational golfers are not swinging at 120 or 125 miles an hour, so the changes in conformity there are really going to be much more in line with what tour players are doing and potentially reining in some of their distance, but not recreational players. The USGA and the R&A also want to look into and discuss with equipment makers the possibility of adding some model local rules that would govern what is called the characteristic time, the springiness of driver faces, as well as the moment of inertia. Now, the springier a driver face is, the more potential distance you're going to be able to get, the more of a trampoline effect it's going to have. And that is capped right now, but there's the potential, according to the USGA and the R&A, of looking into a model local rule that would make driver faces slower, less springy for the game's most elite players, and also potentially having a model local rule that would decrease the maximum moment of inertia, the MOI, and that will make drivers less stable on off-center hits, so the collision, the impact will be less efficient. If you hit the ball on the toe with a lower MOI driver, the ball's not going to go as far, it's also going to go more offline. So they want to try and favor center strikes, put more of a premium on good quality hits, and take away some of the forgiveness, potentially, for the game's most elite players. I had a chance to talk with some officials from the USGA, and I mentioned to them that aren't we really getting into what effectively is bifurcation by another name? We're getting into semantics at this point by creating what potentially could be one set of rules that would govern the equipment for the game's most elite players, and a different set of rules and a different set of standards for the play basically at the recreational, at the club level. And the answer that I was given is that, look, there have been model local rules governing all kinds of different things in golf for a long, long time. There was a new model local rule that just went into effect that was made available, I should say, to people that would govern the maximum allowable length of drivers at 46 inches. The PGA Tour, the LPGA, they have already adopted that. We're going to see that at the US Open and the US Women's Open this summer. Adding more model local rules will give more versatility, more options to tournament organizers and different tour organizers, and that is what the USGA and the R&A think is going to be eventually a very good thing. Look, the bottom line is this. For you, the recreational golfer, this areas of interest letter means absolutely nothing. Nothing that's in your bag, none of your clubs, none of your golf balls are going to be going and becoming non-conforming today or tomorrow, next week, next year, probably not for the next several years. What it is doing, though, is giving us a little bit of an indication of exactly how the USGA and the R&A are going to try and battle distance at the most elite levels in the somewhat near future.